everybody, are you ready to get ready with me? I'm going to be doing a tutorial on a look that I recently posted on Instagram, and it's going to be a more fall look, so I hope you guys are ready for that. Hey, it is almost fall. And the products I'm going to be using, I'm going to try to give as many comparison products as I possibly can, because I understand that not all of you will have the products I have at home. So let's do a quick run through of the products I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to show you how I'm using them. The brushes that I'm using are a combination of brushes. I have a lot of the Sonia, forgot how to say her name, kashuk. But a lot of these brushes, these were from Target. They were very affordable. They might be still available. They're her 15-year anniversary collection. But if you can't find them and you are on a budget, you can definitely check out Eyes face brushes, or just if you are using Sigma brushes, just try to find ones that are similar. I don't know, some of these brushes I've never even really seen before, so yeah. But two brushes that I am using that you can still get are the MAC Oval 6 brush. This I love, this brush I just love. And I'm also going to be using the MAC Linear 1 brush for my brows. So you don't have to use this if you already have a brow system or a brow brush that you use. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the Mirenesse Maxi Lift foundation. Well, this is the Magic Touch. This is actually Magic Touch foundation. And as you can see, I've used this to like no end. I love this stuff. I'm also going to be using the Revlon photoready powder in light medium, which is number 20. Whisper of Guilt, which you can substitute soft and gentle for. I'm also going to be using Honey Jasmine from MAC. Pixi Beauty Subtly Suntouched Bronzer. Colourpop Tassel. There we go, Colourpop Tassel. The amrezy palette, but you can find these shades very similarly in other palettes. I'm going to be using these 3 shades or these 4 shades. I'll see as I do the video. And I'm also going to be using 2 Benefit products, Benefit They're Real Mascara and Benefit They're Real Push-Up Liner, and I'm also going to be using a Kat Von D product in Baja. So let's get ready. What I love about this product is it has the sponge in it already, so I just have to squeeze and I blend this foundation all over my face. I pay attention to make sure to cover up my dark circles, and no matter what foundation you're using, whether it's drugstore or high-end, make sure that you are covering up all of your problem areas. Mine are under my eyes. I have dark circles there, and I also have slight acne. I also suggest blending slightly into the neck so that you have a very fluid foundation. It doesn't look like your neck and your face are 2 different colors. The next step I do is I use my powder foundation. You can use any powder foundation that fits your skin tone. I like using the Revlon photoready with my E.L.F powder brush. I swirl my powder brush into the powder, and then I apply that all over my foundation to help let the foundation set. It also helps make the foundation last longer, and it gives my face a more matte look. And it really helps the foundation from sliding all over the face. And sometimes I'll swirl my brush in over and over to make sure that I have an even coverage, but you don't want to look cakey, so don't swirl too much. Now it's time for eyeshadow. I use the light fluffy brush from Sonia, or however you say it. I don't know which one it's called, and I apply Vanilla from the Amrezy palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. You can use any light color shadow all over the lid. You're going to start applying it under your brow and then bring that shade down to your lid. This is a base shade. This kind of primes your eye without using an actual cream-based primer. And I swirl that right down, drag it right down. It helps highlight under the brow, and it also really helps set the eye. The next shade I'm going to be using is Caramel, also from the Amrezy palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm using a thicker blending brush to apply this shade. This shade is going to be going into my crease, and it is the first step in shading the crease. It's going to add just a little bit of dimension, but it's also more of a base shade. And I'll go back and forth, also bringing that up into the highlight of the brow bone, and I'm also going to bring it slightly down onto the lid because you don't want it to not look blended. Now I'm going to do my other eye. Next up, I'm going to be using Morocco, and this is going to go right over caramel. Morocco is also from the amrezy Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Now, if you notice, I'm only applying it to like the outer part of the corner, and then I'm dragging it in and up and out, unlike caramel, which I applied all over the crease. Now, this also goes up into the brow bone and slightly down onto the lid, just to add dimension and to be fully blended. Next up, I'm going to be applying Deep Plum, also from the amrezy palette, also using the same brush that we had used for the previous two colors. And I'm going to lightly dab it in. You don't want to get too much of this shade on your brush because it's a dark shade. And you're going to put that right on the corner of the crease. You're going to dab it on, and then you're going to blend it out. And you really want to get it right into your crease because this is really going to help define your eye. And you're just going to rub back and forth. To blend this out, use a smaller blending brush. As you can see, I'm using one from the Sonia collection, and I'm just blending that out and into my crease, but I'm not actually applying more shadow. I'm simply blending out what I have already, blending all of the three shades together, up and out into the brow, and also I'm going to add some more vanilla to really help blend in the three crease shades to really make it look have no harsh lines, because sometimes you can get some harsh lines when you're applying darker colors. I go back again with my fluffy brush that still had the shadow on it. I didn't apply any extra shadow to it, and I just continue to rub that back and forth, and you can see the difference between the first side and the second side. Now I'm going to do my other eye. Next up, we're going to use a flat brush. You can use any flat dense brush, and you're going to paint on your highlight shade. I use Tassel from Colourpop. Any light shimmery shadow will do. L'Oreal has some good ones, but I love this shade because I can just literally paint it on right over the vanilla from the amrezy palette. As you can see, I paint and drag. You can use your finger for this too. I always recommend using a brush, but you can use your finger too if you do not have a flat dense brush. And you're going to want to highlight all over the lid, and also you're going to want to go into the inner corner of your eye just slightly to add a little bit more highlight. If you liked it regular without the shimmer, if you're not a fan of shimmer, you don't have to do this step. I just like highlighting the eye with a little bit of shimmer. I feel like it adds just a little bit more pizzazz to the look. Next up is the lower lash line. We're going to be using Little Black Dress, also from the amrezy palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm using the small blender brush we used earlier to blend out the shades on the lid, and I'm just going to apply a little bit. I can smudge it with a finger, I can smudge it with the brush. I sometimes just use my finger to smudge it out. You don't want it to be too dark, you just want it to be a little bit smoky on the lower lash line. For this next part, you can literally use any black pencil. I'm using the Pearl Glide from MAC. It's Black Swan, has a little bit of silver shimmer. Wet n Wild also makes a similar one. You just want to use a pencil that's somewhat soft because you are applying in the waterline, and I just follow along the waterline to apply this pencil. Next up, I'm going to be lining my eyes using the They're Real Push-Up Liner from Benefit Cosmetics. You can use any gel liner, liquid liner, pen liner, anything that really suits your fancy. I just happen to really prefer this liner because it helps me to get a really simple and easy cat eye. It's a really easy to use product, and it's great for a novice of eyeliner. You don't have to worry about making a mess or anything, it just simply glides. Now it's lash time, and you can use any kind of lashes. Usually I'll use Eyelashy or Kiss products. I'm using Kiss lashes today with Kiss adhesive. I don't use the tweezers to apply the lashes like some people do. I just wait for it to dry, the glue to dry, and then I apply it to the center of my lid and push down on both sides. Very simple for me. As you can see, I'm just pressing it down with my finger in the center of my lash, and I'm pushing down on both sides. got a little distracted, but now time to do the next eye. Now it's the time to apply the mascara. I'm going to be using Benefit They're Real mascara, and I love applying this on my lashes where I have my false lashes on, and I also apply it to my bottom lash line. And I had a little bit of a lash lifting there for a second. But I simply apply this to both the top and the bottom lashes. And now I'm going to be applying blush. I'm going to be using Honey Jasmine from MAC Cosmetics. I'm going to be using my Oval 6 brush to apply it to the apples of my cheeks and somewhat into my contour of my cheek. I like using this color blush because it really gives a natural kind of fall look. Any orangey blush will do that leans sort of warm will do. Any brand that has a similar shade. Next up, I'm going to be using a brush from the Sonia collection that's flat, and this is going to contour. I'm using Pixi Subtly Sun-Kissed, I believe the name of the product is called, and I'm going to drag my brush across, and this is going to help contour my cheek. Any subtle bronzer will work in this case. You just want to bring a little definition to your cheeks. It also helps you to look a little bit thinner, and you're going to apply that right over where you put your blush. You're going to blend it a little bit into your blush. When you blend it into your brush, it really helps it to look like you're not too defined. You can leave it defined if you like a more defined look, but I like to blend it slightly. Next up, I'm going to be using Whisper of Guilt by MAC Cosmetics. You can use Soft and Gentle by MAC Cosmetics or any other gold-based highlighter. And I'm swirling a circular brush in there, and I'm applying it right under my eyes, right onto the apples of my cheek, right over the blush, blending it in to really give highlight, to kind of look like I'm always in the best light. I'm also adding it to the center of my nose, my forehead, and my Cupid's bow. Now I'm also apply the bronzer to the corners of my forehead, well, the outline of my forehead, just to add another little definition, a little dimension, so that my skin doesn't look flat, it looks highlighted and contoured. And you can use a flat brush, a powder brush, a blending brush, as long as it's a little bit denser. Now I'm going to be doing my brows. I use the Tarte Cosmetics, the darkest shade in the Tarte Cosmetics Aqualillies palette. I know it's a little bit uncommon, but I use my linear brush and I just sweep it across the shadow, and I swear by it. These brows stay on all day, no matter what kind of weather, no matter if I'm swimming, doesn't matter, the shade is perfect. And first of all, I start to give my brows a little bit of shape, and then I just blend the shadow into my brow. I have very dark bushy brows as is, and I don't plan on plucking the top of them or anything. I just want to give them just a little bit more shape, a little bit defined. I know my brow game is not strong, quote unquote, but I just want to make sure they have just a little bit of extra shape. Now on to my favorite part of the look, the lips. I use Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Bauhaus. And MAC, I believe Flat Out Fabulous is a very similar color. Anything that's a very darkened fuchsia, Rimmel London makes a similar shade as well, will work for this look. I prefer a matte product, so you can use a matte, you can use a gloss. Of course, go to your preference. And for this product, I start by filling in my lips. I don't really use a lip liner. I will correct later using concealer, and you'll see how I do that. But for now, I'm outlining my lips very slowly with the doe foot applicator. As you can see, it's a little bit messy, but it does start to take shape after a while. Okay, let's clean it up. A little bit of foundation on the back of your hand. Take a foundation brush. You should use a smaller one. This one's actually too big, but I'm using it anyway. This is just a simple foundation brush. I'm going to blend it in, and then I'm going to define the area of my lip where I may have gotten out of the lip, where I've gone too far. I just want to make it just look a little bit cleaner. I'll apply a little bit of foundation. I would usually blend it out with a blender, a beauty blender, but I didn't have one on hand, so I just used my finger after I applied this to make it cleaner. So I hope you guys found this tutorial really easy and simple to follow. I'm sorry some of the products that I used weren't in the beginning. I forgot that they were part of the look. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products that I've used, there will be a shop the video link below. Just be on the lookout for it. It might not be there right away, but it will be there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please follow me on Instagram, I'm Recycled Stardust, and subscribe to my fashion blog. Thank you so much for watching.